So just last week, Wednesday the 20th, Ethereum Foundation under investigation by state authority, SEC pursuing legal campaign. We saw minutes after that to make ETH a security. I can't imagine too many people saw these headlines and actually, well, I know that they didn't get shaken out or afraid because nothing happened to the price and nobody cares anymore. But, this, whatever this is, which we'll kind of fill in the blanks on what it is, but it won't work. I mean, ETH is not going to be labeled a security. I mean, we have this precedent now with Ripple and the XRP token, which is a heavy precedent in terms of the whole commodity security thing. Gensler is literally on record, on film at MIT, calling it a commodity. By the time any of this would even happen, who knows if Gensler is even around anymore? I mean, I think we're inching closer to a Trump reelection here at the end of this year. But, this is the typical news that starts to come out when candles do start to turn red. And funny enough, it's actually pumped since this news. But basically, it went the entire opposite direction. But is this really just a matter of these entities putting this out to front run the ETF, get in on ETH at a lower price, which is what everybody suspects at this point? And keep in mind these headlines. They literally don't mean anything. Like SEC pursuing legal campaign. Okay, pursuing. Legal campaign. Like, okay, what is actually being done? What concrete thing is actually being done? It's a scare tactic headline to scare people out of the market so they can buy in at lower prices. So hopefully they did on the modest dip we saw. Maybe it'll dip more, but I really think that's all this is. So what do you make of all this news? And then we'll get to what Richard Hart had to say about it too.
I completely agree. I think it's they like to do that. They like to create the chilling effect, as we call it. They did it with Hex and Pulse and PulseX, and now they're doing it with ETH. They did it with Bitcoin too before that one was approved, because if you notice, several months there would be these rumors that okay, it's approved and now it's not. It's approved, now it's not. And you saw the crazy candles that ensued. And I think it was giving their buddies a chance to get in at a better rate. I think that's exactly what's happening now. That's really all I can guess that they're doing, is just buying time, trying to keep it low so that it doesn't get too out of control for their bankster buddies and allow them to get in at a better price. So, yeah, I don't see anything to worry about at all with this. The ETF will eventually get, and who knows? That was an interesting thing too, and I don't know what happens in the case of that. So, if the rules do get changed, where the new president steps in, usually that is a appointed position. What happens in the middle of all these cases? Do you have any idea? How that works? Does the new person just kind of step in and take over? Do things get dismissed and retried? Like, how does that work for things that are already underway when you've got people like just leaving?
This is speculation on my part, but I don't think it would affect anything to do with the cases, because this is just the head of the commission, commission, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The committee. I mean, so I don't think that because it's not like representation or attorneys or anything like that. It's just the head of it. So I don't believe so, unless that person, which I doubt they would do this, would just say like, hey, never mind, we don't care about this anymore. We're withdrawing from the lawsuit. I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, it would have to almost be Trump himself for that to happen. But
well, I just wondered, you do get somebody in there with a different mentality than the ones that are really going after it, the wrong people. They're going after the wrong people. Obviously, we know that tons of scams out there, and they're going after the ones that have been, that done well to try and, navigate the Howey test. Richard's always said, I put a lot of work into making sure that it didn't pass the Howey test. And, that's who they go after. So I just find it interesting, and I wondered how it would work out if the new person that stepped in was more pro crypto and wanted people to play by the rules, wanted to work with them, wanted to do things to grow the space and kind of partner up, as long as people were being on the up and up, obviously.
Right. Well, I just sent you RH's tweet about this later that day. So it's kind of interesting to see his take on it because of what he's, been dealing with personally with the SEC recently. And, he seems to be very prepared. And we'll get to this point in a minute. But I mean, in that case, actually, his representation, Richard's, actually on April the 8th is when their motion to dismiss is actually going to be due. So that's interesting as well. But I sent you his tweet. So he says, in regards to, he basically tweeted at Ethereum lawyers, do you have your amicus briefs ready for this case? It's April the 15th. Interesting precedents in this case. Blockchain software listed as a defendant. Venue affected by, he's familiar with this, venue affected by where Uniswap devs are headquartered. Uniswap so-called decentralized. That and so much more. You've seen dozens of Amici and Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, and other cases. Because if a bad precedent gets set, it's bad for everyone, and good precedents are better for everyone. See the attached picture of public documents where numerous good arguments have been made. If you're curious about other Amici that have been filed, and is he meaning amicus? Maybe that's probably the plural of amicus. Yeah, very weird. I guess it's Amici. Yeah,
I thought it was. I thought it was Amici, but
maybe it's Amici. So if it would be Amici, Amici. I mean, Amici sounds good. It sounds like I'm going to an Italian restaurant. Have been filed in cryptocurrency cases. I wonder if Richard had to Google the plural of amicus for this, or if he big brain, he may have known that already. By April the 8th, 2 weeks, the motion to dismiss, and then I think it's his case, will be public. I'm not a lawyer, not financial advice, not legal advice. Past performance, no guarantee of the future. So, yeah, what do you make of his thoughts on this? This is the kind of stuff he's been doing over the last, year, basically talking to crypto lawyers about lots of things as he's, coming across them, learning him. We know he has a team of 11 like star-studded attorneys for his case. And again, we'll talk about his scenario here in a moment. But yeah, April the 8th is when his motion to dismiss will be available. So yeah, what do you make of this tweet?
Well, no, I think it's good. I think he's trying to wake people up to say, "Hey, guys, we're all in this together, and now you too. We're all fighting for the same thing here, whether you like our product or not. We're all in the same boat." So, I just, hopefully some of these become usable in future cases. That's the hard part. When you can set precedent one place, it can be used in others. So, it depends on kind of who goes first. But I think, our case in our ecosystem probably gets there before Ethereum's does. I haven't seen any dates really for that. And I don't know that did he post dates? Have you seen any dates for the Ethereum?
No, I don't know any of that, and I don't even know that there are any, because I mean a lot of this is just kind of conjecture, headlining to scare people type stuff. So, I will, when you're done with your points, I will outline the important points for Richard's upcoming stuff though, because I do have that written down here.
Right, but no. Anyway, my basic point was, like he said, if bad precedent gets set, it's bad for everybody. And the good precedents are better for everyone too. So that's where, that's the main take out of this that I saw. And he's trying to give them a bunch of ammo, essentially. While I'm thinking about it, I think there's only a few days left to sign the amicus that we have at pulsepetition.org. And it will be turned in and used. So it's already been paid for. We just need as many signatures as we can get to make it stand out a little bit more. So, like I said, there's a lot of people going to soon realize that we're all in the same fight. And it would work out so much better if we kind of teamed up as a unified group, rather than this little group over here and this little group over here. And if everybody can unify, it's the same with anything. if we could get our country to pull the same way, it'd be amazing what we could all do together instead of being divided on 17 different topics. And,
Right.
that's just life in general. So, yeah, it's a good thing. I hope lawyers, I hope some of these guys chat, and we can get in good and kind of all fight it together. That's my hope.
I agree, and I put the pulsepetition.org link in the chat. It would make sense that that would be due in a matter of days with the Richard Hart motion to dismiss being filed here by April the 8th, which I'm sure is practically ready to go at this point. But we do have over 44,000 signatures on that amicus brief, 44,016 right now. So very cool. If you have not done that yet, which it's very likely, people watching maybe didn't even know about it at all, because we're kind of in a new part of the market from when this was at first introduced, when we really were starting to think about this and everybody was signing it. So if you're unfamiliar with that, go ahead, and if you do support real DeFi, support the PulseChain ecosystem, go ahead and sign that amicus brief yourself as well. But yeah, important dates upcoming here for the RH case anyway is, the 8th is when their motion to dismiss will be due. Nothing's going to happen as a result of that, other than it'll be cool to see it and see what their points are and things like that. And then the SEC gets until July the 8th to file a response to that, which they'll certainly do. And then actually Richard's attorneys will have an opportunity to respond to that by August the 22nd. So they then get another 6 weeks to respond. And then it's not until October the 24th of this year that there would actually be oral arguments in front of the court for the motion to dismiss. So this is why we've said, since this timeline was presented back, I guess it was around Christmas time, maybe a little. No. I'm trying to think when Richard came out with his tweet saying like, "Hey, I'm taking on the SEC and all this stuff." Might have been the new year. Yeah, I think by that time it was the new year. So I mean, we've known this timeline now for a couple of months. So most of 2024, there's just going to be things happening back and forth, but I don't think any of us really give a shit about it. It's just like, this is what I want to buy. We expect it to go up, and we're not worried about the SEC because they've failed at every turn. They're targeting everybody, especially now targeting Ethereum and stuff. We know what they're doing. We know what their game is. So do you have any thoughts on that timeline or anything about the RH case or anything, Ewok? Oh, you're muted.
I did want to bring up that nuclear herbs. If you follow down in Richard's tweet, he actually linked everything through Court Listener. That he had live links to. There was a couple that he didn't, and then he linked further down below here. So if you're not following him, very, very educated gentleman, lawyer as well. So he does know what he's talking about. But it's good to read his take on things too. I always enjoy his input. So
definitely,
that's all I had on that.
Definitely, he's a great dude.